about you. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to all of their records and we rank them worst to best, give our biggest banger if we have one from each of the records, and we try to have a good time while doing it. But before we do that, we get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. That's where we connect the band of the week to our boy Tom DeLonge. And while you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify especially. Give us 5 stars only, please, and thank you. All the social media is at Asinine Radio. We have a Discord server. If you want to join that, let us know. We'll send you the link. And we have a phone number. You can call us, text us. The phone number is 503-893-5307. And if you did not already know, my name is Tyler. And way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. Now, let's get right into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge, if you did it.
You can say go or nothing?
Go.
You're just going to, okay, I did not do it, no.
I did not either. I was negligent, and it's been a busy week. So let's move on to the album rankings then.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're not gonna rank all of his records because there's 45 fucking records. So we decided to just really stick with the records from the 70s plus his first record. So, Neil Young. We're doing Neil Young, obviously. So we're gonna do his records from the 70s. Not really the collaborative records like with Stephen Stills because that shit was stupid. But we're also gonna throw in a live record and a comp. I don't know why we're doing the comp, but that's fine. So all in all,
fully a comp.
It really is though. There's only
it's not
2
really
new songs,
is.
but okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, so we're ranking 12 records. So let's start with number 12, Jeff. We'll try to get through these quick because there are so many. So we're not gonna. This isn't gonna be a 2-hour long episode. So what do you got for number 12? Go.
The comp, Hitchhiker. This was it's only this low because there's only 2 new songs. Everything else we've heard, or it's just a different version of the song we've heard. And there's nothing wrong with the 2 songs. I think they're good. But those 2 songs aren't better than my 2 favorite songs from my second least best Neil Young album. I don't think any of these are bad, but my least best is this one, and my second least best just has 2 songs that are better than these 2 songs.
Okay.
That's why it's here.
Okay. So no banger out of those 2. I don't know.
Because there's songs that were dubbed differently, that were mixed differently.
Yeah, but they're still the same song.
No.
It's still a comp.
No.
It's still a comp.
No. They're not the same song. That's like saying the fucking the first version of No It Isn't is the same as the studio version, or the one
It is the same song.
No, it's not. There's a fucking bunch of different changes. They added a whole extra verse at the end of after the fast
They
part.
did.
What are you even
They
talking
did.
about? It's not the same fucking song. It's
still the
vastly
same
different.
song.
Get out of here.
It's still the same song.
And the version where
It's a
Tom
compilation of demos.
Angels and Airways for the adventure when he breathing constantly when he's hyperventilating. That's not the same song. Please get out of here. Get out
It's
of
the same
here.
song.
Things are mixed differently. Things are dubbed differently. Please, come on.
Who cares? It's
Come
a
on.
compilation of demos. It's not
Come
like
on.
all these songs are from one record. They're not.
Come on.
Anyway, my number 12 is also Hitchhiker because it's not an album. It's a comp of essentially demos and outtakes.
Plus, you love doing
That's what
comms
this
all
is.
the fucking time. You rank comms and EPs.
I do,
and,
but this is
Good God.
we're also doing 12 we're 11 other records here, So
Well,
but
I did 17, but
yeah, I know you're fucking crazy, but not really. Only for listening to trance. Yeah, I do like the song Hawaii. That is a really good, just straight up solid acoustic song. It's one of the new songs on on this compilation. But yeah, Hitchhiker, it's fine. It's good. I had no issues listening to it. It was good, but it doesn't belong on the list. So, what do you got for number 11? Go.
Neil Young's Neil Young, his first album, 1968, his debut, his first solo after leaving Buffalo Springfield. It's not a bad album. It's not a bad record. I've had this. I think this is the 3rd time I've had this. I keep buying it and then getting rid of it because they hold pretty good value. And if you find them cheap enough, you can sell them for essentially the same price you bought it. I think the first couple tracks here are just absolute bangers. My biggest banger is the 9-minute closer, obviously, because that's a fucking fantastic song. But there's definitely some like lingering influence from Buffalo Springfield on this one. And it's also a little disjointed. It doesn't flow as well as other stuff. It's not bad. It's just not, it's just bottom tier Neil Young of the 70s. That's it.
Or 69.
Yeah. Well, doesn't belong here to be in the
68.
70s, but the 60s, that's fine though.
Yep. All right, so my number 11 is also Neil Young's Neil Young. So, yeah, this is. I think I'm just gonna purge this one. One. I don't have a reason ever to go back to it. The melodies aren't as strong. The songs really aren't that strong. Just nothing. I mean, it's good. It is a really good record, but goddamn, if I'm gonna listen to Neil Young, I'm gonna listen to everything else from the 70s. It's so much better. So much better. So there's no reason to have this one.
That the last trip to Tulsa is the last song. God, that song is so fucking good.
Yeah.
So goddamn good.
I read too with this record, the original mix was on like it was done with a CSG mix, which is like, I guess it's meant for records that can be played on both a mono stereo and a stereo. And then he hated the mix so much he said it sounded like shit. So he completely remixed the record to play only on stereo. But I guess like they were released. These mixes were released, but I guess they degrade a lot faster as well than a normal cut. But I thought that was really interesting. I had no idea. But neat stuff. Neat to learn things. It's neat to learn things.
Just for learning things. The cover arts on some pressings have his name at the top saying Neil Young and some don't. And I can't remember which one it was, but one of them is worth like a lot more money than the other one. Vinyl.
Really?
Wise.
Shit. Yeah. Wonder if I have that. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I bought mine from a store, so they would have priced it accordingly.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you got for number 10?
Number 10, American Stars and Bars. American Stars and Bars. Do you want me to throw Trains in here or no?
You could do an honorable mention.
Okay, well, I'm not there yet. But American Stars and Bars, 1977. I regard this just as a better Comes a Time. It has the country stuffs on it, but it doesn't take it too far. I think this is a more like Neil Young based album, more rock influence than just doing like a straightforward country album. But I don't know. I think in doing so, this album comes off as like a little disjointed also. A bunch of stuff just thrown in there to cover all his bases. Doesn't always like equal like a good cohesive album. It's still great.
Mm-hmm.
I like the song Like a Hurricane. It's a long one that kind of just like does
one.
all the tricks we love about Neil Young.
Yes.
But it does feel a little choppy at times on this album. But this is not a purgeable one for me. I'm going to keep this one. It's fucking great. I love it.
So everything else you're going to keep, even Trans. Wow.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't honorable mentioned Trans yet.
God, you're crazy, man. You're fucking crazy. All right, my number 10 is Harvest, his fourth record from 1972.
That's crazy. Hatred for this is just unwarranted. I don't understand it.
Wait, my ranking?
Yeah, your hatred for this album, I don't get.
You really like this one though?
I like it better than the other one. Oh, I guess just we've mentioned the same ones, but I like it better than American Stars and Bars. Yeah.
Really, I think it's too country, it's too folky, and it's not. I just don't think the songs are as good. I don't think his voice is as good as on this record. He experiments a little bit more, but obviously with the country music. But then he brings in like an orchestra for some parts of this. I think it's underwhelming, and people love it. It gets like a A+ rating. People fucking love this one. I don't get it. I mean, there's so much better Neil Young than off this record. This one is almost purgeable too. It's almost purgeable. I think I would probably eventually purge it. I have no reason ever to go back to this one.
Wow.
I really don't.
Okay.
And yeah, do you think I want? Is it mainly because of the band or the guys he had doing this record, or is it? Do you think it was just like all Neil Young?
Finish your thought because I want to get into it.
Okay. Well, okay. So Harvest is my number 10. Banger is Old Man. It's one of the few songs that's less country and orchestra, has really nice, strong crooning verse. It's so good.
Okay,
it's good.
Okay.
You're an idiot. And also the last song, Between the Lines of Age, or Words Between the Lines of Age. It's a bit longer and it has some good jamming in it, which is really cool. So
Words are like bullets. You good?
so annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm good.
my number 9 is Harvest.
Thank God.
Harvest. I don't. Okay. So this is like, if not his most successful album, and there's a lot of really good stuff here. Old Man, dude, killer song. There's a lot of cool stuff to that song. I can see why people sometimes like toss it to the side because there's so much fucking production going on in this. It's almost maddening sometimes. Like if you just took Jack Nietzsche out of here, because he's the one that really did all the orchestral arrangements. If you took him out of this album, then it would be a really solid album because the songs for the most part are there. There's good songs here. But like, why the fuck do we need a London Symphony Orchestra? Come on. Stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's dumb. And then, so I have this, I like the Stray Gators a lot. I really do. I have a live album by them called Tuscaloosa. We also, both of us have an album called Time Fades Away. That was Stray Gators. And then like,
I don't have Time Fades Away.
You don't have Time Fades Away?
No, I don't have
I
that
thought
one.
I bought it. I bought it for you.
No, I don't have it.
Is it still here?
It might still be at your house, but I don't have it.
I fucking know I've bought that for you. Maybe I've asked and you said, no, I don't want it because I hate Harvest and I'm fucking a butt munch. You munch butts. So the Stray Gators were just kind of this like thrown together group, and their story is a fun one. I don't know if you read about their story or whatever, but like I like them
did.
as a band. I think his live album Tuscaloosa shows us how scrappy and fun they can be. They aren't Crazy Horse, and I think that's a good thing. They're not tight. They were playing together for a bunch of years. They're not like writing music to supplement Neil Young, but then also being their own band and having Neil Young. They were just like a bunch of musicians that just kind of wanted to fuck around, and they're kind of sloppy. Like Tuscaloosa is fantastic. It's an amazing album. It's fun, but it has like this overarching sense of sadness and gloom. Like the show was recorded earlier than the Time Fades Away show, and it boasts this 9-minute song of this song called "Don't Be Denied," which is like my fucking new favorite Neil Young song. It's amazing, but there's a lot of really good stuff on Harvest. I just think it's ruined by the production, and Neil Young doesn't need help. He just doesn't need help. Does not need help.
He makes amazing, beautiful music with just his voice and the acoustic guitar. He doesn't need a band, but when he does need a band, but when he does have a band, it's equally as good. It's remarkable.
And I hate it because if you only listen to this and you think, oh, the Stray Gators, they played in Harvest, like, oh fuck. It's like, yeah, it's not that great. And this guy Jack Nietzsche, who played with Stray Gators, who played with the flying, what was it? The flying marsupials, the flying Hawaiians.
Or Santa Monica Flyers.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
They had the Santa Monica Flyers.
Yeah,
Stray Gators, and then also, fuck man, Crazy Horse. So he's been there for like everything. He's played with everybody, but I think he's like John Feldmaning Neil Young at this point. Just getting his little fucking fingers in there and tweaking stuff that just don't need to be tweaked. Stop.
Yeah, I'm with you. Would you purge it?
I wouldn't because after listening to, I mean, like if I really, really needed the room, yeah, I'd purge this.
Okay, good.
But I really, really like the Stray Gators. I like them as a band. I don't think they're as tight as Crazy Horse. I don't think they're as like melodic as Crazy Horse. I think they're wild, dude. They're wild. They're a wild group, and I like that. I like that they're just. I don't want to call them bad because they're good musicians, but they just haven't played together as long.
Well, I mean, the story behind it is that he was in Tennessee or in Nashville or whatever, and he just done Johnny Cash's TV show, and he wanted to record music, and there were no musicians because it was a Saturday night, and they were all playing bar gigs, so they had to like get a bunch of random people that just happened to not be playing a show that night, and then they found one guy, I think the bassist, they found him just on the street, walking down the street. It's like, what the fuck? And then they got together, and I think that session they recorded 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and Neil Young's music is not inherently complex. It's very based and like even his soloing is just very, very minor pentatonic. That's all he fucking plays.
Yeah.
But my God, it's just like he's such a fucking underrated soloist. It's amazing. But I you should really, really check out Tuscaloosa. If anything, Tuscaloosa and Time Fades Away. Time Fades Away is a little bit more raucous than Tuscaloosa, But Tuscaloosa is very much even like the story of Tuscaloosa. It's in Alabama, and the soundboard guy just didn't turn on the fucking soundboard to record the show in the beginning. So like the first like 2 or 3 songs just are non-existent. They don't exist because he forgot to turn it on. And then he turned it off too early, apparently. So like the last part of the show wasn't recorded. It's just I don't know. It's just very thrown together. It's very sloppy. It's very Neil Young.
Yeah.
Killer album.
Too. I'm always down to listen
cool
to
name for a
70s Neil
group,
Young,
too.
man. I like the Stray Gators. I think it's way cooler than Crazy
God,
Horse.
Stray Gators. Like the word Gators is so dope. I love it. It's so rad.
It's so southern, so hickish almost.
Yeah.
Not hickish. That's not the right word, but
Hickish. Fuck them. Who cares? I don't live there.
all right.
Yes.
My is that all you got for Harvest?
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 9 is "Comes a Time," his record from 1978. This one is very stripped down. He kind of throws it back more to the Harvest era, kind of more of like a country rock kind of thing. There's a lot of violin on this, a lot of lap steel, lap steel can be fine, but it could be overused really easily too. It's a solid record. I really like this record. I'm gonna keep my copy of this record, but it doesn't quite. After listening to all those records consecutively, it doesn't quite do it for me. Like you have to be in a special mood to listen to "Comes a Time."
Yeah.
Just a real quick story on this one. When the record was pressed, they pressed 200,000 copies of it, but it was made from a damaged copy of the original of that pressing or whatever. So Neil Young went out and bought all 200,000 copies of them, and then remixed the entire record with like another master tape or something like that. And he claims he used all of those records to build a new put new shingles on his roof, or has shingles on his roof.
So fucking cool.
I know
And he's always
if
kind
it's
of
a
been
true
like
story, it's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, there's 2 things he's always been. One is cryptic, and the other is like an audiophile of his own music and music in general, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has a whole like music service where you can only listen to like the highest quality music or versions of songs. It's pretty cool. I mean, if he had done this in the 90s, I mean, I feel like he could have made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah.
But nowadays, I think he made this company like 6 or 7 years ago. It's way too late now, but whatever. My banger on here is "Human Highway." Just a great acoustic song that's super folky as well. It's a good one. The one song I can't really get behind is "Motorcycle Mama."
Oof.
It's like pop country, man. It's that kind of duet he does with Nicolette Larson, who does a lot of backup vocals on his records, but she has lead on this one as well. And it's really writing that pop country line, and I can't really get behind it.
Okay.
But "Comes a Time," my number 9. So what do you got for number 8?
This starts my unpurgables. I'm never gonna get rid of these. I love all of these.
Okay.
But mine is "Comes a Time," and
We're pretty similar right now on our rankings.
So we had just done Bright Eyes on the pod, and it really seems like Connor just had to have been inspired by this specific album. There's so much here that he did on that. I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning.
Mm-hmm.
There's strong melodies, folk delivery with strong country influence. Some of these melodies are just like top fucking notch Neil Young's best stuffs, but they get a little bit lost sometimes with the production because there's a lot of these fucking orchestral arrangements. Don't know why we're doing this again, but then it's also if you don't like the country sound, then it's like this is just not for you because it's so aggressively there. It's not nuanced. It's not layered. It's there.
Yeah.
And I think Nicolette Larson, never heard of her before, but I think she does a great job. It's very like Emmylou Harris sounding, and that's just me not knowing my way around this country backing vocal thing. But I don't know. It is impressive, like how country he can sound when he really wants to be, because it's pretty fucking amazing. This is better pop country than I would arguably say like all of pop country post like 1995. So I don't know. "Human Highway." It's my favorite, dude. Insane melody.
It's a great song, right?
Insane melody. That was so catchy, and like I was singing as like he was. I mean, I've had this album for a minute, but like I was singing as he was playing it too. And after the album was over, I was like, oh god, that was a good fucking melody, man. Good stuff.
I know.
Good stuff.
It's a great song. Great fucking song. All right, so that is your banger.
My number 8.
That's your number 8. My number 8 is Homegrown. So this record was recorded in 1974 and 1975, meant to be released back then, but he decided to shelve it, and it didn't come out until 2020. And this is a fucking killer record. Homegrown it's really fucking good. It's a slower record, not a lot of like blues rock or blues really at all. It's a sad sounding record. It's melancholy. He was really connecting his vocals with the lyrics, with the guitar playing. Like everything was so intertwined and so just perfect. Like you could hear the sadness through his playing and his singing. It's a really sad record. It really, really is. My favorite song, my banger is the title track, Homegrown, because he sounds so goofy and stupid. It's just so honky tonk the way he sings Homegrown or sings that chorus. I think it's fucking funny and I love it. The song Florida, super fucking weird. It's just the dialogue where he's talking about I think he's talking about getting abducted by aliens and shit.
Yeah.
It's super fucking weird.
Comes out of nowhere too.
Yeah, and it plays this like a weird ass annoying sound, like just randomly throughout that track. It's really bizarre. This is a really bizarre record, but kind of the reason why he scrapped or not scrapped it but shelved it for so long was because he wrote this record about the breakup he had with his girl at the time, Carrie Snodgrass. It's an ugly name. And he thought the material was too personal, so he decided not to put it out. Instead, what did he put out? Tonight's the Night, I believe.
Tonight's the night.
Which is also like a very personal record. And it's just crazy it took him so long to release this one. But Homegrown, great fucking record. Yeah, so that's all I got for my number 8. What do you got for number 7?
Okay. Number 7. Here's like the biggest one that I just don't get. And I like it a lot, but that's On the Beach, 1974. I really like this album. I think it's a great representation of the sad era of Neil Young mixed with like tight production and great songwriting. It's like the second part of the Ditch trilogy. But I don't think there's as much interesting things on here to keep my attention. Like especially on side A, minus one song. Side B is like completely where it's at for me. Perfect acoustic driven sad boy songs. Great stuffs. Neil Young doesn't even like need to drop a ton of his high falsetto vocals or anything or crazy aggressive whiny vocals to drive these songs forward. It's very solid. I don't know. This is an album that like a lot of people really, really love. Like a lot of forums, like this is like a top 3 for them. A lot of people really, really love this album. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe. I don't know. But I do like it. I would never purge this. I think this is really, really enjoyable. The song For the Turnstiles, that was my favorite. It's a very stripped down, somber song with just Neil Young on the banjo guitar. Because he can play a banjo, he plays the banjo guitar. Because God forbid you fucking learn how to play the banjo. But that's fine. And some backup vocals a little bit. Just super catchy, really fun, really interesting to listen to.
Yeah, okay. It's a solid record, man. Solid record.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
All right, my number 7 is American Stars and Bars from 1977. This is it's definitely not a comp, but it's a very, like you said, it's a very scattered record. There's a lot of different things going on here. It's not very cohesive, and it makes sense because this was recorded in 4 different sessions over I think it was almost 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's a long fucking time.
With a bunch of different musicians in each session. So, I mean, yeah, you go from, the country rock kind of in the beginning to some more of the minimalist acoustic songs to some pretty great, like gritty guitar driven songs. I do like how this record varies, but I do understand it doesn't have that. It doesn't sound like an album. It sounds just like a collection of songs. But I still I think the songs, every kind of genre that's dabbled on this record, I think he did really well on this record. I think this is a solid output, even though it's not cohesive. But my banger is Like a Hurricane. That guitar tone is so fucking gritty and gross. Oh, it sounds so good. I love it. And some great solos too. Great solos. Nothing like flashy or anything like that, but it's just great blues solos. Really. It's fantastic, but with that gritty ass tone. I love it. Love it. So American Stars and Bars is my number 7. So what do you got for number 6?
Number 6, Zuma. Zuma. This is 75. This is a solid album. Like Zuma, I think should be in the middle of like a good Neil Young rankings. It's just a solid album. Every song sort of follows the same type of approach. Slower jams with like a couple of chords going on. A lot of Neil Young noodling. It's dark. It's slow. It's fun sometimes. The biggest takeaway is Cortez the Killer. That's from this album. This is epic slow jam that builds just so fucking nicely. It ends abruptly because I guess apparently there's some power surge, or I don't know, supposedly a power surge that like cut the recording thing off, and when they told Neil Young about it, he was like, whatever, I don't care. And then just like never bothered to re-record anything after that, if that's true.
Which is weird because he seems so particular about his recordings.
Sound right?
Yeah, it does seem a little suspicious.
Again, very, very base in like mysticism, this guy. So if that's true, that's fucking boss. But I really like Zuma. I like the cover art a lot. This is the black and white one, flying over like the desert. God, it's just so fucking dope.
It's a really cool cover.
This is a solid album. I really, really like this album. But I think it fits perfectly in the middle. I don't think this would ever go higher or lower for me. I think this is a solid middle.
That's fair. It's very, very fair. All right, so my number 6 is also Zuma. 1975. You know, this is the first album he did with the return of Crazy Horses' band. This is after Tonight's the Night, right? Yeah. It's after On the Beach too, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Where does this fucking album sit?
This was after On the Beach. This was before. Did you say Comes in Time? This is before Comes in Time. This is before Stars
But after
and
Tonight's
Bars.
the Night, yeah. Okay. No, this is Zuma is a really good record. I don't have a banger off of this one. Nothing really stood out to me, or it stands out to me very much, but this is probably one of the records that I've gone back to the least outside of Harvest and his first record. But I do love the cover art, but for whatever reason, I always think, I'd rather listen to Tonight's the Night or On the Beach or Gold Rush or whatever, you know. I don't come back to this that often. Like, I want to spend more time with it. But yeah, Zuma all around, it's a solid record, and I agree with you. This belongs right in the middle. There's nothing bad about this at all. Nothing to complain about on this one. I just need more time with it. But anyway, what do you got for number 5?
Everybody knows This Is Nowhere. His
second.
I think this is.
second record.
I think this is like kind of like his first real album. This is the first one like with Crazy Horses backing band. His actual personal guitar playing style shows itself here way more than his original or his first album. And like, I don't know, this record is very much more melancholy and country sounding. So this is a very Neil Young sounding album rather than like his first album. But Cinnamon Girl opens this one up.
Fucking love that song.
God, that is just like a fucking beyond banger of a song. It's unbelievable how amazing that song is. And I don't know. It's good. So like my favorite song on this one is Running Dry. This one had that violin part. And it was just so fucking weird and eerie and jammy. And after listening to it, I was like, this may be like my favorite violin-driven song like of all time. And I don't know like a lot of them. I don't know like a lot of like violin-driven songs, but I really, really enjoyed it. The way he played that violin like sounded like a fucking theremin sometimes. It was just so bizarre. It was so weird. It was so unconventional. And the guy playing it was named Bobby Notkoff. Never heard of him. But he played on a few random albums in the early 70s. That's about it. But god damn, dude. This was good. This was a good song.
All right. I can't believe you ranked it that low. I'm really surprised.
Well, that's because you got some other stuff that's just unfucking touchable.
Okay. All right. My number 5 is Tonight's the Night from 1975, the first of the Ditch trilogy. This one it's a very sad record. It was written and recorded a few months after a close friend of his from Crazy Horse, the guitar player Danny Whitten, and also his roadie Bruce Berry overdosed on heroin or speedballs, I think, right? Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They overdosed, and he kind of wrote this song for them and just how he felt about their deaths and everything. And I mean, you could hear it. It's super fucking sad. The album's a slower one, especially compared to everything prior. It's a little bit more harmonica driven in some areas than most of his other stuff. It's just a sad record, and it makes sense. But my I got two bangers.
Do it.
Tonight's the Night, the title track, because it's so fun to sing. It's so silly, and I love to sing it. He's so whiny in it. He's so fucking whiny in it. The other one is Come On Baby, the live track. Or no, Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown. The live track that Danny Whitten sang lead on. Pulled it from a concert from 1970, and this is just really good. It's just a really good blues rock driven song. And it's such a nice way to break up the record, because Neil Young was just so, I mean, you could just hear it in his voice how sad he was, and to hear this upbeat song was such a nice change. So yeah, those are my two bangers. Tonight's the Night, great record. That's all I got for number 5. So what do you got for number 4?
Homegrown.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like you said. This wasn't released till a couple decades after it was written. Not a big deal. But this was more upbeat than Tonight's the Night. It's just good, hearty Neil Young. Nothing we haven't heard, but nothing that wouldn't be considered like filler. And it's just like on first of all, I think it's crazy to think how long this went kind of unheard. I mean, some of these songs appeared in various forms throughout the years and on various albums or comps, but it's just, and this wasn't like the only thing he shelved for this many years. But this is fucking great. This is so goddamn good. This is amazing. This is a counterpart to Tonight's the Night. And I love thinking that. I love thinking that those two go hand in hand, and you listen to them back to back. And it's like, wow, man, it's kind of the same guy here at the same time going through the same thing, but these are wildly different albums. Yeah. And everything you hear on Tonight's the Night is here on Homegrown, just in like a major key instead of just all minor stuff.
Yeah,
but I love it. I love the title track. I love Love Is a Rose. And I really love Kansas. That's a fucking banger, dude. A great acoustic jam that has him almost just not playing. It's so soft and delicate, but keeps a tone of his sadness from this era. Like he just kind of like barely strumming along. And I love, like on the best Neil Young acoustic tracks, there's a lot of silence. There's a lot of dead air.
Oh, but it's so good.
He is not afraid to do nothing.
And the dead air, it just adds so much more to the song too. It's just it's such a I don't want to say vibe, because I fucking hate that word, but it really is. It's he knows how to. I don't know. He knows how to make you feel something. That's for sure.
Got feels, baby. Got feels.
Oh, he's great, man. All right, so that was your number 4, correct?
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is On the Beach from 1974.
Here we go.
This is the one. So this record he actually recorded before Tonight's the Night, but then actually released it after that record. It's a kind of a rough sounding record, from a production standpoint. On top of that, the songs are pretty varied. There's some more rock based songs, some folk and blues rock stuff, but all in all, it's very kind of melancholy sounding. It's very sad sounding. It's just amazing how he can put all these different kind of genres into his music, but still make it sound so sad and so heart wrenching. The guy is just one of a kind. He really is. And then you go and get into a song like Turnstiles, completely stripped down banjo song. It's like, where the fuck does this come from? This album is so varied, and I love it. That's one of the reasons why I love this record. And like I said, tonally, production-wise, I think I just love the raw sound of it. Some fun little thing that I read about this record. Apparently, when they were recording this record, Neil Young and some of the people that he was working with and the band, they consumed a lot of what he called honey slides. And apparently he describes it, or they describe it as a goop of sauteed marijuana and honey that they said felt like heroin. And it just made me so curious. Like, what the fuck? Like, is that real?
I don't know.
Have you ever heard of anything like that? It's just so bizarre. To saute marijuana. It's so weird, but yeah, apparently that's what they were.
Cooking drugs, baby.
They were using a lot of
70s.
that for the making of this record. My banger is the title track, On the Beach. It's a long song. It kind of it actually trudges along really well. Has a ton of feel. He sings a little bit in a little bit lower of a register than before, which is really interesting. Like the guy has some fucking range, and it's awesome. Some great guitar playing. The bass cuts through the mix super nice on this one. And I also get a lot of Black Sabbath vibes on this one, like slower Sabbath, not like the heavier stuff, but just the slow Sabbath. That's what I hear on this song. I think this record is fucking awesome. Also, the cover, the craziest, stupidest cover that I think he's ever put out outside of trance. It's just, it makes no sense, and it's just ridiculous. And I love just how bright all the colors are on this record, and yet the music is so dark. I
don't know. I don't know if I love it, hate it. I have no idea.
I love it. And then naming the album On the Beach, you expect something happy and uplifting, but it's not at all. I love that. So yeah, my number 4, On the Beach. So what do you got for number 3?
Right near the beach, boy. Number 3. Well, this may come as a surprise, but that is After the Gold Rush, album of the week, number 3.
God, you're stupid.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not entirely accurate, but yeah. I will say, like my top 3 are just absolutely untouchable. They're just
They're really good.
Because I don't want to give away my rankings too early or my final 5 too early. But
I know what your number 1
albums.
is. I know what your number 1 is.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm surprised by your number 2 though. But yeah, I definitely know where your number 1 is. But anyway, so my number 3 is Rust Never Sleeps. Live record recorded in 1978 but released in 79. The first half of the record, for the A side is solo acoustic, B side is with the full band with Crazy Horse. And when you drop into that side B, it's so nice. It's just so lovely. It's so welcoming, and because you're just so sad and just by everything you hear on the A side, and it's so heartfelt on that A side, but then you get into this like this ruckus of just loud music on side B. I think this is a great live record. It's a truly, truly great live record. I know you'll have a lot to say about this one, so I'll move on.
Okay.
So what do you got for number 2?
Rust Never Sleeps.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be your number 1. Holy shit.
I know. Well, so I will say that the Live Rust, that is my favorite Neil Young album, that like out of everything he's done. All of it, everything. But this is Rust Never Sleeps, so it's not entirely live. Okay, don't keep saying it's a live album. It's not entirely live.
Yeah, I know they had overdubs, and they tried to get all the applause out of it and all, but still. Come on.
So here we go. Live Rust. That's my favorite. We're not counting that one. This album is a weird hybrid. I don't know how I feel about that or whatever, but it takes the studio dubs or studio versions of songs and whatever. But this is great. There's a lot of heat being brought here. Some of his heaviest songs from the 70s, because I have not ventured into the 80s and his 90s stuff that people say are the actual precursor to grunge. I've not listened to those ones yet, but this is the heaviest I've ever heard Neil Young be is on this album. It's right here. There's some soft stuffs here, and there's some great jams. He even throws his version of like this fast-paced punk song on Sedan Delivery.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
And although it was written like years prior on an unreleased album called Chrome Dreams, it's still never been released to this day. Just completely unreleased, a bunch of songs.
It's so weird because he has an album I think in the early 2000s called Chrome Dreams 2.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Why do you do that? It's so stupid.
Just because he fucking doesn't give a shit. He just does what he wants. I love it. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. But like what really gets me about this one, and then over After the Gold Rush, which we'll talk about it in After the Gold Rush, there are no songs on this album that I'm not eager to hear. And I've listened to both of them equally as much. And these ones just stick with me harder. These ones stick with me more. These ones just, I carry these tunes better. But After the Gold Rush has a lot of better tunes. But there's a couple songs After the Gold Rush, I could do without. Rust Never Sleeps, Not one fucking song. This is a perfect album through and through. The Hey Hey, Fade into Black, Blue, opening, closing things. Man, that's my favorite stuff. That is my favorite stuff. I love Sugar Mountain, fantastic song, but that is my favorite stuffs here. They're this like great interpretation of how Neil Young was feeling at the time, his growing like irrelevance in the world, coupled with like the growing state of music that he didn't feel he could keep up with, or maybe even like felt he shouldn't be a part of because he's just getting older. And he's not even that fucking old.
I know, right?
So it's just this fucking like epic songs that are, oh my God. And that punk song, right? Like this is 1979. Like punk is already a thing. Punk is happening. And he throws it out. And it was recorded like years before that. So we're talking like probably 1975, 1976. He's throwing out kind of like aggressive, fast punk songs. Like before like Black Flag got really big in like the punk scene.
Yeah. Or even the big three, you know?
And that's pretty fucking rad, man. That's pretty impressive. And all the while he's sitting back thinking like, damn, do I even like deserve to be here? That kind of like, again, either just complete Long Kong bullshit or he's just been humble throughout his entire life. I don't know. I don't know which one it is.
The humble one,
But his music reflects that, though. He continuously talks about it.
Yeah,
that's the
I
only
guess so.
reason why I give like credence to that argument, is because he continuously talks about it. Even after the gold rush, he's like fucking early 20s, still
That's
talking about it.
crazy.
It's just like, what is happening? How are you this? I don't even want to say enlightened, because he's not like enlightened, but like, how are you this? I don't know, this down to earth. It's fucking bizarre, man. It's just so fucking weird. I love Rust Never Sleeps. I love Live Rust. Live Rust, I think, is the best thing he's ever done. I think that is so goddamn good.
I should have
It
listened to
chills.
that this week.
I get fucking chills. Did you not listen to it this week?
I didn't listen to Live Rust, no.
You son of a
I wanted to
bitch.
listen to that and Young Shakespeare, but I didn't have time to do it.
Oh.
It's a lot, man. It was a lot to do this
It
week.
was. I listened to like 17 albums this
I
week.
know.
It was a lot.
Oh, shit. All right, so your number 2 is Rest Never Sleeps. My number
Yeah.
2 is Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, second record, 1969. This is the first album we did with Crazy Horse. This is just a great lead. I agree with you. This is kind of like his proper debut record. This is a great lead up into After the Gold Rush. It has all of his really good, high-pitched, strong melodies. The music is just fucking spot on. I think one of his catchiest songs he has ever written is on this record, and that's Cinnamon Girl. I agree with you. That song it reminds me a little bit of Sugar Mountain in just how catchy it is. But yeah, dude, Cinnamon Girl's a banger. Down by the River is another one. It's essentially a 9-minute jam with a huge big chorus. It's a fucking killer song, killer
So
record. I really honestly I always go back to Gold Rush and this record. And then it's always like, oh, I'll listen to more Neil Young. I'll throw on Zoom, or I'll throw on Tonight's the Night or something. But it's usually one of these two records that I always throw on first. Because there's just something about his goddamn voice that I'm just fascinated with. Truly, truly fascinated with. So, and one little story I read that if it's true, I thought that was pretty interesting. But he wrote three of the songs, Cinnamon Girl, Cowgirl in the Sand, and Down by the River. He apparently wrote these songs while he was in bed with a fever of 103 degrees. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is,
higher.
yeah, it's fucking miserable too.
No, I don't think I've ever died higher than 103.
I've had 103, and it was, oh my God, it was terrible.
Did you get like brain damage at like 105 or 106?
Yeah, like 105 is like you need to be hospitalized. Like you need
So
to be
fucking
hospitalized.
high.
Yeah. God, it's miserable. But yeah, so my number 2 is Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, and obviously my number 1's After the Gold Rush. So what's your number 1?
Tonight's a night.
I can't believe this is so high.
So yeah, when we've so like we're pretty new to the Neil Young game here, and when I
There you
first got this is the one that like we were both kind of searching for in the wild for a long time, and I don't know, I told myself if I see this I'm gonna buy it because I really want to hear it, and I was saving myself for marriage and for this album, and I said, but if I see it, no matter what the fucking price is, I'm gonna buy it. I got it fairly cheap, I think. I can't remember. I think I bought it from a friend of the pod, David, actually.
Oh.
for usually like him and I sell to each other for like 50 or 60% what it's worth. So I got it a lot cheaper than I should have got it for, I guess, whatever. But this album is like rough. This album is rough in like the best way possible. Rough studio albums that are both charming and emotional are just fucking next to impossible to come by. Obviously, like what comes to mind first is Pinkerton, and that is something that I think is rough, but in a more polished way than this is, just because of the times. Totally. But Neil Young throws this album down that's just fucking full of emotion, both musically, lyrically. He's setting the stage for his operatic sadness. It's fucking amazing. It's so goddamn quiet in so many places. Like I said, there's a lot of dead air in this album. It's unsettling. It's weird. Why is he not talking? And then, like, listening to On Vinyl, is my record skipping? Is something happening? There's enough dead air to where I'm questioning why it's so quiet for so long. Every song on here is crafted to tell a story of sadness and, like, the overall gradual decline of society. Like you mentioned earlier, the live version of Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown with the recently deceased Danny Whitten is this extremely bittersweet tune. It's a fucking banger of a song. And you throw it into this mix here, this overall crazy sad album, and it gives this song like an incredible new meaning. It's a very emotional last goodbye to a close friend that Neil Young felt very, very bad about. It's a great song, and he sings lead vocals, not Neil Young, Danny Whitten. So it's like, okay, does he feel bad? Is this like a sad song, or is this like a good hearty goodbye to a lost friend? And I mean, we don't really know because Neil Young he's one of those artists that never talk about his lyrics too much. And God damn, I love that. And I have not, man, like I feel like I say this all the time, but when we do albums of the week, sometimes like if you get really overly emotional about them, it elevates it. And Tonight's Night for this week, for some reason, just really, really elevated my emotional attachment to this. And I don't know. I thought this was great. I thought this was amazing. I thought this was perfect. I thought this is studio wise, this is the best thing he's ever done. This is just it's better than good. It should be in like fantastic. The fucking like the Hall of Fame for just the top albums. I don't know, man. It was so good.
It's so fucking good. It's a great record. Totally great record.
And I like to sing the Tonight's the night because it's so stupid, but
it is. That
song builds really, really well.
It's a fucking banger, dude. Oh, this guy, he's unreal. He's fucking unreal.
Yeah, this album I thought was his best.
All right. So you have anything else on this or any of these records?
No.
Before we jump into Gold Rush?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify.
All right.
Give us 5 stars. You know the rest. Keep listening. Tell all your friends. And that's it. That's all.
Danny Whitten.